Hi everyone, how are you? So, you have been looking at PyNet Labs, and as you know, I am Dipanshu. I am one of the co-founder and CEO at PyNet Labs. And as you know, we have been working very hard in terms of network automation, in terms of, SD-WAN and other SDN solutions, right? We have been delivering a lot of trainings. We have been doing a lot of projects for a lot of companies. We have been doing corporate trainings. We've been doing B2C trainings for, DevNet, DevCore, and I'm sure a lot of people have already asked us, as well as we have been planning for something big from long time, which is CCIE DevNet. And I'm sure being network automation expert that we call ourselves as, so we are always looking forward to do something new. As you know, I mean, you guys are with us for so long from last 2 years now. So now you have seen us growing in terms of network automation, and a lot of you have already grown with us in terms of network automation in past couple of years, in past 2 years, as you know, since Cisco launched network automation, DevNet and DevCore in 2020. So PyNet Labs has taken another step now under the guidance of its co-founder and CTO, Mr. Abhijit Bakle. We have taken another step towards CCI DevNet. Okay. Let me introduce Abhijit Bakle to you guys. And I'm sure a lot of you have already been meeting him. You have been, studying from him, and you have been, getting in touch with him regarding your doubts, your production doubts, or a lot of things through our Telegram channel as well as through our group. So here we have Abhijit. Hi, Abhijit. How are you?
Hi, Dipanshu. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. Oh, I heard that something exciting happened last week with you, and you have done something new. You have done something crazy, which a lot of people do not even think about, and they keep thinking when to do what, and you did it last week. So just give
That,
us some brief about it, some glimpses of that.
well, excitement is a very small word, I would say. So it was more than excited or exciting.
Sure.
So I somehow took some challenge for myself and thought of taking that particular challenge, which everyone is looking forward to. Since you know that we have been delivering and scaling, we can say, pretty much into DevNet. We call ourselves network automation specialists, and that's what we have been forting in. And since the beginning, or as you are closely associated with me, and we together have founded this PyNet Labs Private Limited, and we had a vision of making ourselves the best training provider for network automation and technologies or courses which are related to software defined networking. And since Cisco came out with DevNet certification, we have been delivering lots and lots of trainings in DevNet Associate, DevNet Professionals, and various courses which are related to network automation and SDN solutions, including SD-WAN, SD-Access, and something else. So, since DevNet came out in, I think, 2019, and they officially started to, we can say, cater certifications in 2020. I have been delivering training since then for DevNet Associate and Professional, and we even came out with the combination course of Python for network engineers. And since then, people are asking me that what about CCIE DevNet? What about CCIE? What about the expert certification? Because whenever we used to give them a brief about what all are the certifications that are available into DevNet, then it was just it used to be level 1 and level 2. There was not level 3. And in this world, we all know that the hype for a CCIE certification is so damn much. It basically gives you a validation that you are a master of this particular domain. So everyone was looking forward that when Cisco is coming out with CCIE DevNet. But because the world has been through lots and lots of scenarios and lots of challenges because of COVID pandemic, finally Cisco announced CCIE DevNet, and I couldn't wait that when can I attend and attempt my CCIE expert DevNet certification. And that's the exciting thing that I did last week. I happened to travel to Dubai because Dubai was one of the locations where the DevNet certification was available. My primary priority was to go fly to Bangalore, which is the only certification center for CCIE exams in India. But the DevNet certification is not available to be attempted in Bangalore. That's why I had to fly to Dubai, and I did so. and it was quite challenging and an eye-opener kind of attempt that I did. So that's an exciting thing and an amazing experience that I had with my attempt. However, there are lots of other experiences that I had apart from just attempting.
I'm sure.
I completely take it as my learnings. And yeah, I didn't, I proudly didn't make it to get my CCIE DevNet number. I failed that attempt, but I have no regrets, honestly, about it, because there is no resources, or there are very, very few resources which are available that I could refer to while preparing for my DevNet expert. Definitely, I carry an experience of more than 3 years. My total experience, however, it is of 10 years of delivering corporate trainings in consultancy. But I've been delivering trainings, and my calendar has been jam packed with DevNet trainings for this last 3 years. But still, I had to take that attempt to get to know how Cisco is looking forward and prompting with the questions and tasks, and how they have planned the DevNet expert solution. So the first attempt was to just to get to know what are we, you can say, keeping our eye on, and then I am definitely preparing for my second attempt anytime soon.
Good, good, good to know. Good to know. Seriously, good to know. I was like, this was one of my last question that I wanted to ask you today. That when are you planning again? Anyway, so which that's we'll come to that for sure. So thank you so much for sharing this. I'm sure a lot of people who have already studied from you, or have been following you around or building their labs from your videos and a lot of other stuff. I'm sure they really want to know, like you said, that there are very, very limited resources available to study CCI DevNet, and that is something that you also face, right? So
Yeah.
can we try to understand, for the sake of our viewers, for the sake of our students, and people who are not even our students but sitting anywhere in this country or outside this country or anywhere in this world, who are actually looking forward to clear CCI DevNet? What do you think, and what advice do you want to give them in terms of the pattern slash blueprint of the exam? Like, what was the pattern of this 8 hours exam that you've been through? Yeah.
Well, if I speak about the people who are really looking forward to attempt, so I got a feedback from some of the inside people of Cisco that very few candidates are attempting the exam as of now, and that's not secret thing. Anyone can just go onto the CCI portal and get to know that how many seats are available, and there are very few seats which are available. I mean, I think every center just has a single seat available, but the calendar is quite open for the attempts. Otherwise, it would have been that we have to book the seat for CCIE exam 4 months prior to when we are planning to attend that. But it's nothing like that. I was able to book my seat just 1 week before that, and I just thought that it was even, as you know, that it's even something that we didn't plan on the day that I went ahead and attempted. It's just because one of our corporate training got postponed, and I got the chance, and then I said, let's do it. So
Right.
the availability is quite much, but there are very few attempts. However, when I have even mentioned it into some of our other platforms as well, and in our trainings also, that Cisco, when designing all these particular certifications, Cisco had to think about it in a way that there is a gap that needs to be filled in the production environment. Lots of, so automation, when we talk about in generic, it is not something that is completely new in the industry. Automation has been there, and automation is being implemented from decades. It's network automation that is coming new, right? And lots of traditional networking has been done for around 3 decades now, and people are making the current internet and network so complex that automation tools has to be used now in our networks or complex production environments, so that we can bring the best out of our networks. And for that, now, since we understand, or when we try to understand about automation, then it's something that application developers or software engineers or DevOps engineers has been very familiar with. It's not network engineers who are familiar with automation. And in the industry, whenever, if we take an example from other domains, whenever there is a software development that happens, then there are different teams that deals into it. Some people deals with the code that has to be created. Some people deals with the testing that has to be done. Some people deals with the version control system that needs to go through. Some people needs to deal with the automation, so that whenever there is any change, a workflow kind of scenario can be developed, where whenever an attempt is being made to make some changes, there is an automated script that runs up, which actually manipulates the development environment and then pushes some configuration changes, and then it also accounts that change and lets the concerned person know about it. So it's kind of a workflow that gets developed when we talk about automated development. The same workflow is being adapted or is looking forward to be adapted into network automation. And for that, you need various skills which you are not really familiar with. Me being a specific network engineer, I also found it very difficult to cope up myself with software development skills, be it getting to know about GitHub, be it getting to know about CI/CD pipelines, be it getting to know about DevOps tools, Jenkins, and lots of other things that we basically use. And there are even various vendors now who are coming out with the tools that they're developing, which they think that might be helpful for their network automation. So still, there are so many tools which are out, but there hasn't been tools which are kind of standardized tools that can be used. Every vendor is looking forward to market their tools around. Cisco also looking forward to market the tools that have been developed by them. So you need to pick the right tools and right DevOps practices and right software development methodologies to prepare yourself so that you can understand the development part or development side of this DevNet certifications. And the other side is network automation, definitely. So when we think about preparing yourself to the expert level, you really need to gain some knowledge from both the domains. Being a network engineer or a core network engineer, because when we look at the number of candidates who have attempted our certifications, then mostly the candidates comes to be as network engineers. Around I think 90 to 95% of the candidates who have attended our trainings in the past 3 years, they are core network engineers, and very few are software developers. And even the industry do not really want a major chunk of control to be given into software development people. The industry wants network engineers to actually take control of the automated processes that needs to be implemented into the network. So that's why when a network engineer is looking forward to prepare for expert level exam of DevNet, then he or she must be getting familiar with the development practices. Very importantly, yeah, that's what I would say.
Right. Got it. So software development plays a major role
Yeah.
In terms of CCI DevNet or maybe the future network automation industry.
Right.
So that's
So
something
does
I.
engineering stuff. So does the network engineering. But software development is something that goes out of the mind when you prepare for network engineer or network automation. We think about it's all about automation. So people think about netconf and restconf and REST API and Ansible is the only thing that we need to learn about. But that's not the picture when you think about expert.
Understood. So another question that comes to my mind now is that, were you really confident enough to, take the jump? Because I remember, so like you said, one of the training got postponed. I know that, it's a very big multinational company for which you're delivering around 6, 7 batches of DevNet for 20 people. It's around 140 people you're training in terms of DevNet now. And their training was scheduled for this 12 September week also. So and it got postponed, and immediately you booked the visa, flights, and just went there. I mean, that courage or that you need that confidence, you need that courage to put in, those $16-80 for the exam, plus your visa, plus your travel, plus your hotel, plus mindset, a lot of things. I'm sure you have your own family time that you would have used, but there must be something that kicked, that you must have got that kick from somewhere, that spark from somewhere. So how did you do it actually, and how do you tell
But
others to do it? Yeah.
I would say it's both sides. You can say I was confident, but I was scared as fuck. So when you think about it, specifically when it's your first attempt for the expert exam, I had to be familiar and getting to know about how does an expert exam happen for something like DevNet. I've been practicing DevNet for, like I said, for 3 years, and I see the complete practice environment is made up of virtual. So somewhere I also think, what if I try to have some words with experienced CCIEs who have who have done triple CCIEs and dual CCIEs, and I try to have some interaction with them and get to know about their experience and what are the things that they prepare when they attempt for an expert exam. So there are lots of input that came in to build up the mindset. When we think about the content, which is one of the aspects to think about how prepared you are. Content wise, I was pretty much confident because being an instructor, as compared to a network engineer or a production guy, I would say that you feel more confident in terms of the knowledge that you have. Because being an instructor, if you're teaching X thing, then you need to also be aware about the Y and Z's, because your candidates or your students might ask you questions which are beyond the scope of your the curriculum. And for one question or two question, it's fine that you're not looking or you're not prepared or you don't really know the answer for that. But you have to be prepared for answering themselves or the questions that comes around which are beyond the scope of the curriculum. That's what make you a better instructor. So I always have been very confident with the knowledge about DevNet that I had, and that gave me an impression that when I look at the blueprint that Cisco gives me, then I feel confident about each and every topic. But on the other hand, since Cisco always tricks its exam questions so that it doesn't get that much of easy thing for you to attempt for the DevNet expert. So I was scared also, apart from just being confident that how it's gonna be like. And mentally, there was monetary thing which was involved also. I'm putting a big chunk of money to attempt for the DevNet. There are other things which I have a complete pack calendar that I'm aware about. I have some personal thing going on, and I just came to know that I need to give my exam in next 3 or 4 days without really planning for it too much. So that was something that I was scared about. How is it going to be like? But you were there by my side, so giving me much confidence. Don't think about it and just go and attempt it and gather whatever learnings that we can make out of it. So that gives me a good support in order to go there and just see what happens. So yeah, you need to be, but I'm pretty much confident that now it was my one of the best decisions to, and at the best times, to not to plan too much and think before 3 or 4 months before going somewhere, because there's not so many resources which are available. Even after 3 4 months, I had to give an attempt, and who knows, the resources might not be available at that time as well. So why not go ahead? I can save my 3 4 months and get to know what is it like, and then prepare and use the next 3 4 months to prepare for that. Yeah.
I know. I understand. I really understand. This is what you have been telling me that, now we are very smart enough to,
Yeah.
whenever there will be a next attempt, a lot of things are already there in your mind that, this is what you're expecting. So another thing that is coming to my mind, how was the 8 hours planned in the exam? Like, how would you explain that kind of breakup, that what was exactly, if you can give an overview, just an overview that, how it worked out. How was
So the exam hours are 8 hours divided into two modules. There is module number one, which is about design module, and then there is module number two, which is we can say deploy, maintain, and troubleshoot module. The design module is has dedicated 3 hours, where you will have to attempt multiple choice questions, single choice questions, and drag and drops based on the scenarios and questions that will be prompted by Cisco to you. And then you would basically be thrown away for the module number two. Um, and the module number two will span for around 5 hours. That makes it total 8 hours. So in the module number two, it will all be about lab, where you will have to deploy, maintain, and troubleshoot a production environments network. So it's kind of a big project that you really look forward to execute when you look at module number two. So yeah, this is how the sections are divided. The time is very critical. I have had words with other CCI candidates who were there with me, and for other tracks, it might be that you get sufficient times for executing all the tasks. But for DevNet course or DevNet expert exam, you have to be really careful about the time that has been provided to you. You should be quick enough to identify the question and resolve your answers.
Understood. Thanks for sharing that. So another thing that is again coming to my mind, I have a lot of list of questions that, I've been meaning to ask you for a long time, and I know I'm sure the viewers are also interested to know that. So apart from the exam, the technicalities and all those things, how was Dubai? Have you been to Dubai before?
Dubai was less hot. So as you might be aware about, I've been traveling to Dubai a lot. My previous organization and my previous experiences kept me involved in delivering corporate training. So I used to travel to Dubai at least once or twice in a month, and I had an opportunity to travel to some other countries, including Jordan and Philippines and Singapore and even Australia. But I couldn't make it to Australia. Australia was quite special for me because at that time I was one of the very few instructors in the world who used to deliver DevNet training. So I was invited by Cisco itself in Australia to deliver one of their trainings for DevNet. I couldn't really make it because of the pandemic. But yeah, since then it has been a roller coaster ride because with the capabilities of you can say online trainings, Microsoft Teams and WebEx and all these other tools that we've been using. My calendar got packed even more than how it used to be. Earlier in an on-site training, it used to be a single training in a day, but with the capabilities of online sitting home, I delivered 2 trainings in a day, 3 trainings in a day, even 4 trainings in a day, and that quite gave me a roller coaster ride. But being back to Dubai, it kind of brought back all those memories because Cisco's office or the exam center is the place where I used to go because all our other training companies are also and the IT companies are also located at the same location. So I went there, all those memories were revived again. And yeah, it was quite a wonderful experience for me, apart from being a scary one with DevNet.
No, good, good, you good. So as they say, after a bad night follows a sunny day. So I'm sure, obviously this is not a bad night. You have a lot of learnings from that exam,
Yeah.
but still. So now speaking about DevNet, and we have been hearing about it. A lot of people have been asking you, asking me, in corporates. A lot of people are still trying to figure out. Even a lot of senior instructors who are from 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, who are in the domain of routing, switching, traditional security, and collaboration, the service provider data center, and all. They've been double CCI, CCSIs, or whosoever. So they are also saying that DevNet is nothing; it's just a fluke, right? I think DevNet is going somewhere, right? Maybe from my semi-technical mind, I'm not able to understand, but from your vision, from your eyes, from your expertise, where is DevNet taking us all? Because I think you have answered a little bit in the first answer as well, like about the automation world, like how world is already being automated, but now the network industry is being automated in a way, right? So how you think, and how do you think that DevNet certifications, what Cisco, what these companies are actually planning, but all the OEMs have introduced network automation as their component, Cisco, Checkpoint, Palo Alto, whatever you name, right? So now everybody has automation component, and now Cisco has this tracks, and having CCIE in DevNet, right, is altogether a very respectable thing that Cisco has done for DevNet, right? CCNA DevNet, CCNP DevNet, still okay. That's okay, right? But getting people to do CCIs in DevNet, that means there is altogether a different ball game, different something Cisco is planning in a very long run, right? And
Yeah.
so, what do you think about that?
Well,
How do you? Yeah,
it used to be the same thing when Cisco came out with their previous or very early solutions in the market. Right now, if I ask you a question, what is the best or what is the very famous tool that is available or a solution that is available in data center networks? What does comes to your mind?
yeah. So that is ACI, right? We have been hearing about all the SDN solutions that are there. SD-WAN, ACI, your SDA, DNAT. A lot of things have come into picture. So yes, ACI is one of the
Yeah,
main things
and
for data
it
center.
popular in 2017, 18, 19. But ACI is not the actual solution that Cisco came out with. It is something that is called as Epic DC. Have you heard about it?
I mean, I guess I've been giving it in terms of my training brochures to a lot of corporates. Epic, yeah.
It was not that famous. I know
Okay.
it. And there was another solution called Epic EM. So this
Okay.
Epic DC, Epic EM, when Cisco came out with it, it didn't got that much of popular, and people started criticizing it. And now we know Epic, you can say Epic DC as ACI. We know Epic EM as SD-WAN.
Okay.
You see, so Cisco has a vision, and Cisco thinks about 15, 20, or 10 years at least ahead of us. and they know where the how complex the internet scenario is, because they hold a majority of stake and control over the internet, because most of their equipments are being used into the backbone internet. So they know how complex the network is going to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years ahead, and they know what solution they should be prepared with. To cater to their customers, their big chunk of customers, so that they can survive through the network requirements, and the services that are going to come up into the future are going to be so heavily reliable onto the internet that every appliance that we are using or are aware about is going to be connected to the internet with the power of IoTs and machine learning and everything. So to manage this big and complex chunk of network, manual ways are not really going to be sufficient and scalable. That's why automation has to be in the picture, and automation is going to be in the picture. It's the right time that you upgrade yourself to network automation tools, even though it's hard for network engineers, but that's the right track. You see, the track that leads to good things, or the track that leads to better outputs, is not so easy at all times, right? So you need to take that effort, and you need to make yourself comfortable learning the network automation solutions and certifications and everything to prepare yourself for the future. So whenever someone, specifically a network engineer, chooses a DevNet track, it is always going to be a right track. It definitely might be that it will not give you fruits right away in your hands, but somewhere down the line, after 2 years, 3 years, you will be valued because you are doing DevNet when no one else is doing.
Absolutely.
So that's the approach that I would suggest based on my previous experience, because I started delivering training pretty early before Cisco came out with the DevNet. And at that time, people also told me that this is the wrong domain that you're stepping in. It's not going to be that popular. But now my whole calendar, even for next 4 months, is completely packed, as you are also aware about. So
Sure,
it's,
I'm
it's
sure.
the right track that everyone takes up. And I'm excited that doing DevNet Expert certification definitely gives you a credibility that a corporate industry or an MNC company can rely there, or can rely on you in terms of building an automated solution for the organization. It just gives a guarantee, and it just gives a trust for your associates or for your organization that you have all the enough capabilities to design a network in an automated way, because Cisco puts you through a high pressure exam and high pressure assessment to know your skill sets and to know how you work it out. So yeah, it's always the best choice to go for DevNet.
All right. So, when Cisco planned DevNet, I know this interview or this discussion is going a little long, so we'll take another maybe 5, 7 minutes. Yeah. So when Cisco planned this DevNet, it was mainly for application developers, and it was mainly for those people. It was not actually for network engineers, but over time things have changed. Network engineers are better able to perform in terms of DevNet now. So coming back to the first question and maybe the fourth, fifth question that I asked, I really want to understand once again, and maybe in a very summarized way, that how the exam pattern has been created in terms of software development, or in terms of how much focus is on software development instead of network engineering, right?
So like I said previously as well, the focus on software development is pretty much emphasized, but you need to blend the software tools that can relate to network automation processes. It's not like you can just go ahead and learn about GitHub. It's not just like you can go ahead and learn about Docker appliances or Kubernetes, right? Or other DevOps tools that are coming out with CI/CD pipelining and everything. You need to be able to relate to the DevNet or to the network automation requirements. And that's exactly that has been my biggest eye opener in my attempt, I would say. And even we at PyNet Labs are taking some efforts in order to fine tune our course content, in order to fine tune our DevNet Expert or DevNet Professional certification trainings, that we can actually create practice in a way that can actually prepare our candidates how to automate the network by taking software tools in consideration, and not just in a raw way focus on network automation. So that's quite important when you're preparing for professional or expert level certifications. Yeah.
Got it. Good to know that. I mean, there are a lot of insights that I also got, and I'm sure a lot of people have already received that. So being an instructor, like you said in the beginning and in the middle as well, that, being an instructor, it helped you, while you were answering the questions, and a lot of, you've answered a lot of questions, difficult questions in the trainings, and people ask you a lot of things, and where you also think, there is a thinking mindset starts, and that, chess game starts coming into picture, that, I hope you're getting where I'm coming from. People ask a lot of questions. People ask a lot of irrelevant questions also sometimes. But sometimes those questions are very relevant. Maybe, even a lot of things people have not thought about it, how that can be solved. But so being an instructor for those, 4,000, 5,000 people in last 3 years or 4 years for network automation spectrum, did it somehow, somewhere helped you for your CCI DevNet, or how was it?
It did definitely. I still think, and I get so many opportunities to join the production consultancy and production networks instead of being an instructor. But somehow, when I think about it, I don't really feel that it will benefit me that much. Definitely, sometimes it gives you a good work-life balance. But being an instructor requires you to be always and always preparing for every question that is asked in the so be it 5 batches, be it 10 batches, be it 15 trainings for corporates, every candidate, I have seen this, every candidate has something different to ask, because the journey, somebody comes from enterprise background, somebody comes from security background, somebody comes from you can say complete fresh background. So the questions that they have kind of enlightens you to prepare for your knowledge in various aspects and various ways possible. So you can say focus on a technology or focus on a concept, being aware about what approaches needs to be put in for preparing one of the concept, and that makes you confident enough for going for an exam like expert. That's how I felt when I went through the blueprint of CCIE DevNet exam. I was confident enough that all the concepts and everything that I'm pretty much aware about, I've been using them. I've been thrown with lots of questions in my trainings with them. So that makes you feel confident, because I was able to answer most of the questions and I prepared. And for questions I couldn't answer, I spent time, a rigorous time, and preparing for those questions, testing lab scenario. Being an instructor gives you an ability to access and have access to virtual lab scenarios. You can spend time, you're not bombarded with a lot of production work. You can spend some peaceful time in testing and getting to know about the concepts that you're working with, right? That prepares you rigorously with all the concepts and required, you can say, practical knowledge that you need to face into the expert exam. So it definitely helps.
Got it. So do you think people who are preparing for CCI DevNet labs or expert exam right now, I mean, would you like to collaborate with them in some way
Yeah.
before your next attempt? And, or are you planning to launch a training batch anytime soon, maybe, for CCI DevNet? Have you prepared the labs for CCI DevNet? So I mean, I think this is the right way to end this. And I
Yeah.
think people will be, yeah.
I felt pretty good to announce that we are coming out very soon with our trainings for DevNet Expert. The lab has been prepared. The course content and everything has been designed very much. We're just pulling up some final touches onto the, you can say, course materials and everything, that we're preparing the lab guides and everything that are in final touch. Once we are pretty much okay, and once we test our entire lab scenario for so that our candidates who are going to enroll for our students are enroll for our trainings are confident enough to use them, and all of our technical testing is done, then we are soon launching our DevNet Expert. So yeah, we're coming out with a very big surprise that the training will be very much launched very soon, and I expect that I should be certified by then. So it's going to be very soon.
Got it. So to the
And
viewers,
I
yeah,
definitely look forward to prepare with candidates who will be interested in to prepare with myself for my next attempt, because I am quite exposed to how the exam is designed in a way. So that's why I'm also looking forward for talents who can work with me and help me prepare better, and prepare for themselves also, who are looking forward to attend the expert exam. So yeah, anyone who wants to prepare with me, feel free to get in touch.
Absolutely. It's always there. 1 plus 1 is not 2, it's 11, right? So
Yeah.
that's how you build a core competency. Got it. Good to know. Any closing remarks that you have, and then we'll just, end up this one.
Well, it's the game, I would say. Just buckle yourself up with the expert. We have also buckled ourselves since we're coming out with a very big announcement very soon. Let's see how it goes up. PyNet Lab is going to rock in 2023.
I'm sure. 2023 is something that, we have been looking forward from 2020 itself. That, we were always speaking about what will happen 3 years later, what will happen 4 years, 5 years later. So I'm sure a lot of things are about to come, a lot of things are there, and I'm sure you have a lot of pipelines, you have a lot of plans for students. So that's it. That's it then, and good to go. And yeah, all right. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time, Ajit. Thank
Thank you so much for you as well to sing back in this way. We don't
you.
often do it this way, but yeah, it's been great. Let's make something big for our child, which is PyNet Lab, and let's make something big for our candidates. The candidates are always the kings, and we gotta prepare something best for them. Thanks so much, Dipanshu. Have a good day ahead, and let's see.
Same to you. Same to you. Have a good day. Bye bye.